What a pot this is.
This could be it, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, what a match. What about devastation.
I've never seen anything like that.
We'll be talking about this dramatic hand for the next 50 years.
High-stakes poker on the high seas. The World Poker Tour gets ready to navigate the exciting waters of PokerStars Caribbean Adventure.
The World Poker Tour is a series of international poker tournaments featuring some of the biggest games, best players, and largest payouts on the planet. Tonight, the World Poker Tour sets sail aboard the Voyager of the Seas for a showdown between a new generation of online players and some steely-eyed poker veterans. Thousands competed around the world to win a berth on this luxury cruiser and a seat at the table. Others paid $7,500 to buy in.
Here we go again.
221 players vied for a piece of the $1.6 million prize pool. Now, these 6 survivors will have to battle shark-infested waters to win the title, the cash, and a coveted $25,000 entry into the WPT Championship in Las Vegas. 6 players, $1.6 million. It's a Caribbean adventure for an ocean of cash here on the World Poker Tour.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the World Poker Tour. We are aboard the Royal Caribbean's luxurious ocean liner, Voyager of the Seas. I'm Mike Sexton.
And I'm Vince Van Patten, and we are on PokerStars Caribbean Adventure. And I'll tell you something, Mike. Some of these players had their own little private adventure just making it to the final table here.
Well, that's right, Vince. We're down to our final 6 players, and what a final table we've got for you. Let's see which one of these 6 swashbucklers will walk away with most of the treasure chest, a prize pool of over $1.6 million.
Well, we're about to shuffle up a deal. Let's do what we do. Let's go down to the felt.
Well, here we go with the PokerStars Caribbean Adventure. In seat 1 from Connecticut is John D'Agostino. He is an online qualifier who's starting out on the short stack today with $54,000 in chips.
That's right, and having just turned 21 a few months ago, John is the youngest player to ever make it to a WPT final table.
Starting out in 5th chip position today with $116,000 in chips is Dutch sensation Remco Schrijvers. Vince, he's another online qualifier.
You're right about that. Let's go over to seat number 5, a man who only started playing a little over a year ago. He's a businessman from Virginia Beach, Virginia, Michael Benedetto. He's 4th in chips with $166,000.
Starting out in 3rd chip position today is the 2-time World Poker Tour champion, one of the most respected players in the game, from Denmark, Gus Hansen. Gus is starting out today with $317,000 in chips.
Oh, and he is truly fun to watch. Moving over to seat number 6, Daniel Negreanu, originally out of Canada, now in Las Vegas. Now, he is one of the top players in the game. We always expected to make a final table. He has finally done it. This could be his lucky day.
Well, Daniel starting out today 2nd in chip position with $408,000 in chips. But Vince, our chip leader, in seat 4, from Alabama, Hoyt Corkins. I think he'll be the man to beat today. He's starting out today with a commanding $611,000 in chips.
He's fresh off his recent win at Foxwoods, and he is a true great player.
We're starting out today with a $1,000 ante and $3,000 and $6,000 blinds. Now, blinds are the money that players left of the dealer button have to put in before the cards are dealt. Here we go.
And it's going to be on Remco Schrijvers from the Netherlands to make a decision first.
And he looks down at ace-6 offsuit and folds.
Remco's first act.
Superstar Hoyt Corkins, not going to play this one.
Michael Benedetto, businessman from Virginia Beach, looks at a 10-3. He folds.
Around to Daniel Negreanu. And look at this. He's got a little suited connector, a 3 deuce of diamonds.
Well, here he comes, the 2 lowest cards in the deck.
Kind of a tempting little hand to play sometimes, so he's going to play it.
John folds out of the small blind, but look at this, Vince, what Gus has here.
Oh, Madman Gus Hansen has picked up a monster. He's got aces on the very first hand.
Now, as we know, Gus Hansen's a very bold, aggressive player. You never know what he has. This time he's got the goods. He raised it up to $22,000.
Oh, so casually, up to 22. Doesn't want to bomb Daniel out. Let's see what Daniel does here.
Daniel's chuckling a little bit. He knows he's trying to sneak in there with the 2 lowest cards in the deck.
That's my good one.
That's my good.
Look at Daniel. He's happy. Just shows him the aces. Got no action with him.
First hand out here at sea. Gus Hansen taking control. Okay. Now, before we get too far along, let's go over the rules that we live by and cherish here on the World Poker Tour.
And the name of the game is No Limit Texas Hold'em. And here's how you play. Each player is dealt 2 cards face down. Then the dealer lays out 5 community cards face up for all to see. Each player combines his 2 hidden cards with the community cards in the middle to make the best 5-card poker hand. Betting, however, is what this game is really all about. You get your first 2 cards, then you bet. The dealer then lays out the first 3 community cards. This is known as the flop, and you bet again. The dealer now lays out the 4th card, called the turn, and another round of betting happens. Last, the 5th community card is laid down. This is called the river. There is a final round of betting. And you turn your cards over and you see who wins and who weeps.
Well, Vince, you got to wonder what these other players are thinking right now. Gus Hansen is just tough enough to beat when he doesn't catch cards. When he starts catching 2 aces in the big blind, they got to be thinking, whoa, how are we going to get this guy now?
Gus Hansen, usually the poker tramp at the table, meaning that he'll play any hand with anyone at any time.
Well, he can play all those wild cards because he's got tremendous feel for the game, Vince. The guy knows where he's at all the time.
He sure does.
Action's on Hoyt, and look at this. The Cowboys picked up 2 Cowboys, Vince.
I can't believe the second hand. Aces now kings.
Comes in for $20,000. Michael folds.
Around to Daniel. Now, Daniel's got an interesting suited connector, 9-8 of clubs.
Daniel likes to play these hands, and he does so here. He calls $20,000.
The youngster John going out, around to Gus.
He looks at a 10-6 offsuit and folds.
Remco taking a peek, doesn't like it.
So here we go. We got a pot between Hoyt and Daniel. It's 2 kings versus 9-8 of clubs. Flop is 7-6-4. Hoyt with the 2 kings leads out and bets $30,000.
With no hesitation, rightfully so.
Daniel swapped an open-end straight draw. Now, many players would raise here with the open-end straight. How will Daniel play him? He's going to just call, Vince.
Quick cruise action going on here.
Well, we got action. We could see some fireworks here shortly, Vince.
Here comes the turn.
Another 4.
Well, the board pairs 4s.
How is the stoic Cowboy going to play this hand at this point?
Well, he knows Daniel's a very aggressive player. Do you want to try to check raise him here? Do you want to give him free cards? No. Hoyt's going to bet $80,000.
He's putting a finger to the ribs of Daniel.
Now, many guys could make a case for all 3 options Daniel has. He could fold, he could call, he could raise. This time he opts to fold.
Well, it's pretty early in the game. Decides to play it cautiously. Hoyt Corkins from Alabama going to take that pot.
I come from South Alabama, a small town named Glenwood. I used to play cards with my grandmother and on a farm. It's a different world. Seems like a long ways back.
And Vince, what an adventure this figures to be. I mean, we've got 3 Goliaths of the poker world and No Limit Hold'em at this final table in Gus Hansen, Daniel Negreanu, and Hoyt Corkins against the 3 Davids. So let's see how this plays out.
Don't go away. PokerStars Caribbean Adventure has lots more hot action coming up.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour on the PokerStars Caribbean Adventure. Mike, do you think there's any intimidation at this table?
Well, Vince, I don't really think that there is, believe it or not. I know that the 3 online qualifiers, the viewers might think are a little bit scared, but remember, these guys have been playing for 3 days to get to this position. Right now, they're there. I think they feel like they got a shot to win this thing. Their problem is the top 3 pros have all the chips. So they got to battle from short stacks, but intimidation, I don't really think so at this point.
Okay, we will see. It is on John D'Agostino. He goes out with a 7-5.
Well, Gus Hansen picks up a nice hand. Ace-queen offsuit.
Very solid, a very un-Gus type of hand. He does a little riffle dance with the chips.
He's going to raise it. Makes it 19,000 to go. Oh, now look at Remco, our student from the Netherlands.
He's got a pretty solid ace-jack as well.
Uh-oh, he's got to take a final exam right here, Vince. What you do against a guy like Gus Hansen who raises pot after pot after pot, and you pick up ace-jack right here.
Because of the WPT cam, we know that he'd be in second place if he should make a call like this.
I'm all in.
He's going to do it, Vince. He's going to go all in here. He's come over the top of Gus Hansen for all his chips right here with ace-jack.
This is a bold play by Remco.
Well, Vince, he's playing the player as much as the hand right here.
Hoyt is going to go out. Around to Michael, who has a 10-5 offsuit.
He's going to fold.
Negrano throwing away king-8. Back to Gus.
Well, now Gus has a real decision here. He's looking at the size of the pot.
About 100.
Remember, Gus is a total math whiz. One of the top, very top backgammon players in the world. So when it comes to pot odds, this is a strength of Gus's. And when it comes to reading players, that's also a strength. But
well, he probably doesn't know how this cyber player plays. This is a strong raise. But is it enough to get a player like Gus out? It doesn't look like it.
no, it's not. Gus is going to call him right here. And Gus is in a dominating position, as we say. He's got ace-queen. His opponent has ace-jack.
Oh, and this is going to be devastating when the Netherlands kid looks at it. He looks at it now. He sees that his ace-jack is a big dog against an ace-queen.
Well, right now, Remco's got to feel like he's going down a ski jump with one ski.
Oh.
He is going uphill right now to try to capture the great Gus Hansen in this pot.
Here we go with the flop. Can Remco survive?
Flop is ace.
Well, flop comes ace-9 deuce. So Remco's going to have to catch a jack to win this pot. Otherwise, he's going to be out in sixth place.
Here comes the turn.
It's a 3. He doesn't do it.
Last card coming up. Can he survive? No, he doesn't.
He does not. Vince, the student from Netherlands, is out in sixth position.
Oh, well, he's going to pick up $74,000 for his week's work. A great effort here on the cruise, but I'll tell you something. I think he took a shot like that. Not a bad shot. He did it only because of the table image of the Gus Hansen.
I like competition. I like to play all hands. Not because some book tells you that's the right way to do it. I want to find out for myself. It might be the wrong way, but at least I'm going to try it out.
So we are down to 5 players on the Voyager of the Seas. What a great play by two-time World Poker Tour champion Gus Hansen.
Gus is off to a great start tonight. And believe me, folks, when he's got chips, he is as dangerous a player as you can find on the green felt anywhere.
Gus Hansen looking at a queen-9 this time.
Queen-9 offsuit in first position. What's he going to do? He's capped his card. That usually means he's playing, and he is. Comes in for 19,000.
He's going to raise it.
Hoyt looks at 7-4, throws it away.
19.
Around to Michael Benedetto, 10-9. Not going to play. Now Daniel's picked up a big hand. He's got ace-10 offsuit.
He's in the small blind. Now, this is a tough decision when you're out of position with an ace-10 offsuit and your opponent's raised it.
Now he's just going to call it.
He comes in for 19,000.
Around to the boy plunger. This time John's got a hand. He's got 2 jacks.
He's only got about 60,000 in chips.
I'm all in. He's going all in.
And look at this. He's going all in with
I
it.
don't blame him one bit. It's exactly what I would do in this spot.
He has pulled the ripcord, of course, going all in, smack dab right into Gus.
Only 60,000.
Now it's going to cost Gus another 41,000 to call here. Now, Vince, what is he thinking about? He's got Queen-9 offsuit here.
Not very spectacular, especially because you have Daniel behind you, another player that you have to contend with.
$41,000 raise.
Now, if Gus calls here, Vince, he's just gambling in my mind.
Tricky little call if he was to do so.
And especially with Daniel sitting behind him,
Well,
who's
that's-
already called a raise. But he's doing it, Vince. He is calling here.
Unorthodox play. Now, what's Daniel going to do here?
Whoa. going for his chips. Oh, no.
Relax. I didn't do nothing yet.
I tell you, this crowd wants blood.
I didn't say a word.
There's so much money in the pot right now. Daniel may want to call for the pot
All
odds.
right, they talked me into it.
Then he's doing it.
But the kid's got to hate that because now he's got to beat 2 players. Otherwise, he's going to be eliminated. But
Well,
he's got the jacks.
He's got the best hand. He's got a chance to triple up here.
This is true. We're going to see a flop. Can one of our cyber boys survive here? Here it comes.
Ooh, flop is queen 6 deuce.
Oh, awful for the kid. That's just giving Gus the top pair of queens.
Well, Daniel checks.
Now the kid is all in. Now it's up to Gus. He could make a side pot, which the kid would not be involved in. This would be strictly between Gus Hansen and Daniel Negreanu.
Well, he's hit his best card he can hit, Vince. Let's see how he plays it. Looks like he's going for some chips. I don't blame him.
Oh, this is Mr. Field to hit that queen with queen 9 offsuit, and he's going to bet it.
Daniel quickly folds.
Must be a queen, right?
So essentially, Daniel's smart enough to recognize Gus must have a queen. Indeed, he does have.
Oh, he turns over the cards. John is absolutely devastated by that.
Yes, he is. And right now he's wondering, how could you call me with a queen 9 offsuit when I moved all in there? I can't believe it.
With
What's
another
happening
player
to me?
behind you, too. This is just amazing. What field by Gus Hansen. But it's not over yet. Here comes 4th Street.
Oh, an ace comes off. Look at this.
Oh, that was me.
And that would have helped Daniel. He squirms in his seat a little bit. But right now, we're more worried about John. He could be eliminated. Here it comes. Last card's not going to help him.
Dags is going to be gone.
John D'Agostino, 21 years old, is going to pick up $99,000 for his 5th place effort. And he will walk away back to the lounge where cocktails fly and poker dreams die.
Vince, the guy played great. He made the correct play. I'm still mesmerized that Gus Hansen would play that hand in that spot with a queen 9 offsuit, but that's why he's Gus Hansen.
Hey, I'm not unhappy with what's going on.
Well, back-to-back hands. Gus Hansen's taken out 2 online qualifiers. Bang, bang, and boy, is he off to a great start, Vince.
Who's next?
Don't go away. PokerStars Caribbean Adventure has lots more hot action coming up after this.
In poker, it's good to have multiple personalities. I'm always mixing up my play to keep people guessing. Who will I be this hand? Trapping Gus, who check raises your chips away? Aggressive Gus, who plays every hand no matter what? How I play is up to you. We play at FullTiltPoker.com.
Welcome back to PokerStars Caribbean Adventure. This week's stop on the World Poker Tour.
We are down to 4 players, and Gus Hansen knocking out 2 cyber boys already.
Well, Vince, you're right about that. He's knocking them out faster than Mike Tyson did in his prime.
Here we go, back to the action. Well, here comes Michael Benedetto. He looks at an 8-7, a suited connector.
Now, here's Michael facing 3 legitimate poker all-stars, and they've all got chips. Yet he raised the pot with 8-7 of hearts.
He's going to push it.
Comes in for $20,000.
Daniel going out with Queen 8, around to gambling Gus Hansen, who's got a Queen Jack.
Well, so far, everything going his way tonight. He's in the small blind. But it is going to cost him $17,000 more to call. He does so.
He's going to play with them. On to Hoyt.
Hoyt looks down at a 9-8 in the big blind. But he opts to fold it.
And look at this. Michael Benedetto with the Halloween glasses on. Making a play, but Gus is right behind him. Here we go with a flop.
Ooh, flop is Jack 10-9.
Oh, that's tremendous. Michael's flopped the straight.
Michael Benedetto has flopped a straight.
Unbelievable.
Going to see fireworks here, Vince. Gus has the top pair and an open-end straight draw. Wow.
And normally a strong hand. We know because of the WPT cam that he's actually behind at this point. And he realized Michael bet before the flop raised. So he really can't put him on a straight. He's got to like this.
Well, you got to like your hand when you flop top pair and open-end straight draw. And Gus does. He bets 26,000.
Yes, he does.
And we know Michael's going to play. Just a matter of how he's going to play. He's got about 140-some thousand left in chips.
Go all in.
He's all in, Vince.
Oh, yeah, he's going to do the right thing.
Yeah. And look at this. Gus doesn't even hesitate. Beats him in the pot here.
That makes Michael a little stunned there.
Well, it's going to make Gus stunned when he sees what he's up against here.
Stop staring at me, Michael. You're making me nervous with those glasses, my friend.
Well.
He's taking them off. And now they're going to count up the chips.
Well,
Got more than we thought.
the great Gus Hansen is going to have to do some powerful drawing here to win this pot, Vince.
This guy, if anyone can do it, Gus Hansen can. We've seen him do it before. Two-time World Poker Tour champ.
Well, he's going to have to catch a king or an 8 or 2 running cards to make a full house to beat Michael in this pot. Michael has flopped a straight.
44,000.
What do we got?
Michael being a slight favorite here.
Michael has 7.
Gus won't like to see this. Look at Gus.
Oh,
Well,
torturous look by Gus.
Gus took a body blow there when he saw his hand.
He has top pair and an open end straight.
I had queen 8.
So Gus has got some catching up to do.
Well, Gus needs to catch a king or an 8 to make a straight.
Turn 1 card, please.
And here comes the turn.
He does it.
Oh!
Oh, you could feel the breath go out of Michael right there with him. That's a blow to the solar
The
plexus,
best
folks.
he could do is tie on the river. Here it is. And no.
Another king comes off.
So Michael Benedetto will be our 4th place finisher. He'll pick up $132,000. And right now the Cyber Boys are gone.
Well, it was a great performance by the businessman from Tidewater, Virginia. Gus Hansen got lucky and outdrew him there. I'll tell you, Vince, Gus was a virus to all 3 online qualifiers. The question is, will he continue to be a virus against these 2 poker all-stars?
Going for his 3rd title here.
You know, Vince, internet poker has really caught on like wildfire the last few years.
Well, that is very true. And I'll tell you something, online casinos like PokerStars absolutely do it right.
And here's Shauna Hyatt with more on the world of cyber poker.
High-stakes poker on the high seas, and it was all brought together by this high-tech poker phenomenon, PokerStars. The game is booming thanks to the World Poker Tour and the advent of online play, bringing poker to a brand new generation.
There are hundreds of thousands of people in the United States and around the world that don't have access to a local card room.
I love online poker because I live in Virginia Beach. I do not plan on moving to a place to play poker.
I'm 4 or 5 hours away from a casino, so the draw of online has been easy to get on and play, and also, you know, there's always a game going.
This 27-year-old accountant from Tennessee parlayed a $40 online tournament into a seat in a real-world event and won $2.5 million.
It's definitely changed my life, but I still kept my same-day job. So I plan on playing some more and, you know, do some more of these tournaments and World Poker Tour and things like that.
There's a new breed of player that straddles the world of online play and high-stakes WPT events. And they're successful in both.
It's been a dream come true.
So, Mike, we are down to 3 masters at work.
Well, Vince, with that last hand, Gus Hansen has taken the chip lead for the first time in this tournament. He now has 730,000 in chips. Hoyt with about 640, Daniel with about 300.
And speaking of Daniel, he looks at a queen jack. He's going to call this.
Gus with king 5 of hearts. He also calls.
Gus is called.
Look at this. Hoyt Corkins, folks, is raising with a 9-6 after 2 guys called him.
Oh, he wants a little highway robbery here. He's going to try to push these guys around. He doesn't believe they're strong.
Well, Daniel's in the best position out of the 3 on the button right now. He's going to call it. And knowing Daniel's thinking, he knows if he calls, that might bring Gus in the pot because the pot's swelling up now.
Oh, gambling Gus with a king 5 of hearts. Is he going to play? Well, he has called it three-way action. Here comes the flop.
Okay, everybody's in the pot.
The flop is ace, ace, jack.
That is sweet for Daniel. He's got the piece of it. We know, of course, because we have the WPT cams. He's got aces with his jacks.
So it's going to be on Gus.
Check. Gus is going to check this.
Now Hoyt, who raises before the flop, we know he has nothing. He bets 25,000. Not a big bet into that pot. That's nearly 100,000.
A little massage bet by the cowboy.
Daniel, we see, has two jacks. He has the best hand. But believe me, if you're sitting in this seat, you're afraid that Hoyt might have an ace. Do you really want to get involved in this pot? Yes, Daniel says. He calls the 25,000.
He smooth calls it around to Gus, who did not help on the flop.
So he's going to get out of their way. So remember, it was Hoyt. He's on the bluff, folks. He's got the 9-6. Daniel's got the two jacks.
Well, the turn is a 4 diamonds. Helps neither player.
Will Hoyt continue to fire? Nope, he checks.
He is slowing down. And Daniel quickly lining up.
Daniel's not going to give him any free cards. He's going to make him pay. Now, Daniel bets the 25,000 this time. And Hoyt opts to fold.
He slaps the wrist of the cowboy. Daniel Negreanu, the only player at the table without a WPT win. But I'll tell you something, he is not intimidated. This kid belongs.
My name is Daniel Negreanu. I'm 29 years old, and I'm a professional poker player. Yeah, that's I respect Gus Hansen's play a lot. Also Hoyt. But so far this tournament, I'm intimidated by absolutely nobody.
So, Mike, we started with 221. We are down to 3 seasoned professionals going at it here.
Well, you're right about that, Vince. These guys are 3 poker all-stars, folks. They're not afraid to play pots. They're not afraid to be aggressive. And they're not afraid to gamble.
And look at Gus right now. He's got Jack-7 offsuit. He's not going to play. On to Hoyt, who's got a 10-7 of hearts.
He calls out of the small blind. Daniel says, okay, give us a flop. Daniel has Jack-10. Flop is Queen 9-8. Bingo, bango, bongo here for Daniel.
He's flopped the straight, and he's got Hoyt betting into him.
Well, Hoyt has flopped an open-in straight draw.
Right now, the funky chicken is going off in Daniel's head. Daniel's going to go up here.
Now, folks, notice that Daniel Negreanu did not call here with the nuts, as we say. He raises. He's not going to slow play this hand.
Right back into Hoyt.
Yep.
And Hoyt's going to call him.
Yes, he does.
He's got some action here. He's got him in a spider pit. Here comes the turn.
A 4 comes off.
Daniel's still way out in front. Absolute cinch at this time.
Cannot lose this pot. And here comes Hoyt.
He's trapped his victim.
Well, Hoyt has bet 35,000. Here goes Daniel into a little award-winning session here.
Oh,
what to do now?
Look at this. He's doing little acting. Oh, that look is about as sincere as Britney Spears' abstinence vows. Come on.
Well, Vince, I'll tell you one thing. We are at sea, and right now Hoyt has gone overboard, and he doesn't have a life jacket.
Oh,
I'm telling you, he is in big trouble right now.
Oh, look at him. He's dug the hole. He's putting the branches, the twigs over it.
Daniel just calls this time.
Oh, so beautifully done, Daniel.
You're right, Vince. I love this play. He raised on the flop. He just calls on the turn. He is really trying to trap his man Hoyt right here.
He's got Hoyt in the mosh pit. Last card coming up.
Now, that is a scare card for Daniel. It's a diamond. Makes a possible diamond flush out there.
Hoyt
quickly
down.
checks.
Yeah.
Now, even though there's a possible flush out there, if you've got a straight here, unlikely you're going to check. No, Daniel's going to bet.
Living on the edge, Daniel Negreanu, looking like he's going to bet it.
Yep, he's going to bet 50,000. Now, Hoyt has the kind of hand that either has to throw his hand away or raise.
Yeah.
He cannot call here.
Not going to compete
He lays
anymore.
it down.
And look at this. Daniel Negreanu picking up some momentum.
Just sensational poker by Daniel right there, Vince. He raised him on the flop. He called him on the turn. I love this kind of play. This is great poker, folks. Don't go away. Welcome back to the World Poker Tour. We are sailing the sunny Caribbean with plenty of high-stakes excitement. It doesn't get much better than this, Vince.
This is great. We are watching poker savants doing their stuff on the high seas. The blinds have gone up to 5,000 and 10,000 right now.
And right now, Vince, it's anybody's game.
Who's going to get lucky?
Hoyt has first action.
Action is going to be on Hoyt.
Look at this. He's got the queens, the ladies, the Hilton sisters, whatever you want to call them.
Well, the Cowboys got the 2 cowgirls and raised the pot to 30,000.
All right, into Daniel, who throws away a 10 deuce. And it's up to the poker tramp, who has a measly 6 deuce offsuit. That's the kind of hand Gus usually gets.
Oh, man, this pot's been raised 30,000 to him.
Now, normally, anyone would fold this hand quickly, but we've seen Gus Hansen time and again play these type of hands and break people with them.
But usually when you play these hands, you're the guy doing the raising.
That's right.
It's already been raised in front of you here.
This guy just does not like to throw away a hand. Look at him thinking about this.
Well, he thinks Hoyt's making a move on the button. His timing is off here, though.
He
raised it, makes it 105,000 to go, folks, with a 6 deuce offsuit.
Oh, gosh, you got to love this. Right into a man that has a hand, a big hand.
Well, what he's thinking about is, am I going to call him or am I going to re-raise him right now? I believe most people would re-raise right here with the 2 queens, Vince.
He's got that little button in front of him. That means he has the best position in this hand. He always acts last. Great hand. Trying to get a read on Gus Hansen right now, the Westworld Cowboy.
Well, that's like reading a rock if you're trying to read Gus Hansen. These are 2 WPT champions going at it right here. Gus Hansen going for his 3rd title. Hoyt Corkins going for his 2nd. Gus has raised him 75,000 with a 6 deuce offsuit. And Hoyt is just going to call here, Vince.
He's not going to go berserk here.
He doesn't re-raise him. He just calls. Let's see if that comes back to haunt him.
A little bit of respect to Gus Hansen, or is it a slow play for him? I don't know. Here's a flop.
Now the flop comes ace 7-3. I can assure you, if you're Hoyt with those 2 queens, you can't stand to see an ace come out on the flop right there.
No, but it's a backfire for Gus Hansen. He has not made anything happen with his abysmal 6 deuce. But there's still potential betting here. Will he continue the charade?
He is going for his chips, Vince. He re-raised before the flop. He's going to bet on the flop in hopes his opponent doesn't have an ace. In fact, Hoyt doesn't have an ace. He's bet 100,000.
I want a poster of Gus. He's my idol. Look at this guy. Nerves of steel.
Well, he may be your idol, but I can tell you, Hoyt's going to be mine if he calls this bet now after an ace flopped out there.
Well, you're right about that. This would be a very tough call to make.
Folks, we can see he's got the best hand, but when you're sitting there,
he is going to call it.
An amazing call right here by Hoyt Corkins. Folks, that is not easy to do. When the opponent re-raised you before the flop and then bets 100,000 when an ace comes out there and you've got 2 queens.
Oh, this is turning into a fantasy pot. Big chips out there. 2 World Poker Tour champions going at it.
Will Gus fire more shells at it? And will Hoyt continue to call him? Those are the questions.
Here's the turn.
Oh! It won't now because Hoyt's just hit 3 queens.
Oh, he's got the set.
Look how things turn around, Vince. 1 second ago, he was praying that Gus didn't have an ace. Now he's praying he's got one.
And now Gus is going to slow down. He does not like that card. And Hoyt's going to try to do a trap here.
Well, I'm surprised that Hoyt would check there, but he does check the 3 queens there. Off comes a 4.
Complete bust, obviously, for Gus.
Now, folks, the only way Gus Hansen can win this pot is to bet at it. However, he saw his opponent call the $100,000 bet on the flop. Does he make a stab at it, or does he want to protect his chips and not give away any more?
Oh, Hoyt checked on 4th Street because he wants to break Gus Hansen right now, and Gus is not going to bet into him.
Vince, you've got to give Gus Hansen credit for this. He has not gone off for any more chips here.
And
He's
here
checked
comes
at
the
the
bet by
river.
Hoyt.
He virtually waved the white flag, doesn't want to give up any more chips in this pot, and throws his hand away. What a well-played hand by both players, as it turns out, Vince.
Oh, yeah. Hoyt put Gus in the rat trap. It snapped him back. He's going to take an enormous pot.
Well, it doesn't matter which one of these guys win, Vince. I'm telling you, we're going to see poker at its finest here tonight. 3 top-flight pros, all aggressive players. Folks, it just doesn't get any better than this.
Let's take a peek at the man from Alabama, the Cowboy, Hoyt. He's got 8-7 offsuit this time. He's not going to play. Around to Daniel, who's got a wired pair. He's got 44, midlife crises. Strong hand, a 3-handed game.
Well, it's down to a 2-handed game now. Him and the big blind. And he's going to raise it. He bets 40,000.
Goes right into Gus, who this time has a queen 10 offsuit.
Well, blinds are 5 and 10,000 now. So Daniel's raised at 30,000.
Down to 3-handed. You got to open your game up more, play more hands. And this time Gus is going to give us some action with queen 10.
Well, he's in position. He gets to act behind Daniel on every round of betting from here out. He's the kind of guy that likes to see flops, and we're going to see one now. Here it comes.
Look at this. It's a queen 8-7. Gus has hit his top pair.
Yes, he has. Again, he's flopped top pair.
It's on Daniel, who's 44, has just disappeared. And he's going to bet this.
Well, he bet 60,000. He raised before the flop. He's going to bet on the flop.
I don't know how Gus does it. He's hit the queens with a queen 10 in his hand.
Well, he gives himself a chance to win these pots, Vince. That's how he does it. Now, all our viewers should pay attention to what these guys are doing, how they take their time, how they analyze every bet that everybody makes. They think everything out, and then they decide what they're going to do. Well, you're looking at the most successful player in the history of the World Poker Tour right now, Gus Hansen. How is he going to play these 2 queens?
And look at this. He's just going to mildly call it.
So now Daniel doesn't like that call. I can guarantee you that when you're looking at 2 4s and there's 3 overcards out there.
Got a little perturbed look on his face. Here comes the turn.
Well, a jack comes off on the turn.
That obviously is not going to help Daniel.
And he checks it. Now, what's going through Gus's mind is this guy trap checking me? If I bet here and he raises me, what would I do then? So he's got a decision. Should he bet? Should he check?
Well, that jack also gives him an inside straight draw. Even more potential for Gus.
Does he want to give his opponent a free chance to outdraw his hand here? And he does check it, folks. Checks the top pair and a straight draw. And the board pairs 8s now on the end. Now Daniel has 8s and 4s. Gus has queens and 8s. Daniel checks the 4s.
And look at Daniel. He looks disturbed by this whole debacle right now. Gus gave him the old slow torture chamber trick.
Well, Gus gives everybody that trick on almost every round of betting that he's in a pot. He's a very deliberate player.
We know Gus is in front, obviously, with the queens and 8s.
He's going to fire at it, Vince. He's going to bet 80,000. Now what goes through Daniel's mind is, what can I beat here? If he had bottom pair, if he had second pair, if he had a straight draw, if he had queens, and Daniel says, I can't beat anything, and he's right. He analyzed the hand perfectly, he lays it down, and Gus picks up the pot.
Gus taking back some of that momentum off of Daniel Negreanu. What a competition.
Well, Vince, what's fun about this is that all these guys started playing poker when they were young, but one guy's a southern boy from Alabama, another guy's from Toronto, Canada, another guy's from Denmark. Great poker all around the world nowadays, and these 3 are some of the best in the world.
Okay, it's going to be on the 2-time World Poker Tour champion, Gus Hansen. He takes a look at a queen 3 offsuit.
He folds.
No funny business with him this time. Hoyt's got a 9-7 offsuit.
And he's putting the hammer down here, Vince.
Oh, I love the guts of this man.
Well, he's betting 185,000.
Right into Daniel once again. Now, Daniel's got an interesting hand. He's got ace-3 of diamonds.
Well, he's got an ace-3, Vince, but I'll tell you, he's got to play essentially for all his chips right here. Do you want to gamble here in this spot for all your money? If you're wrong, you're out. You go out in 3rd place.
Almost aces.
But he understands that Hoyt puts constant pressure on people like this with hands far less than ace high.
Well, that's why he's one of the greats. He'll play practically anything at the right time. It's a game of psychology for this man, and you're seeing it at work right now. Daniel's thinking to himself, do I want to give him credit for a big hand this time? Is Hoyt trying to run over me?
Well, the answer is yes. Hoyt is trying to run over you. The question is, can Daniel analyze this hand correctly? If he's wrong here, if he loses this pot, he's out.
Daniel in a quagmire right now.
I just know if I throw this one away, that's not going to stop. No chance. It's going to be all in, all in, all in, all in, all in. So, I call.
He's going to play it. He's going all in here.
And he's made a terrific call.
Just a great call by Daniel Negreanu. Hoyt says, I'm going to call you.
Of course he does. There it goes. Let's see what happens now.
We need an ace. An ace would be good.
What a great decision by Daniel here. Whether or not he wins this pot, Vince, doesn't make any difference. He made the correct decision by putting his money in with the ace high. Give him credit for that.
He felt it, and now he's got to sweat this hand out. Can it hold up, or will he become our third-place finisher?
We have a contest here, folks, that anybody can win. Don't go away. Exciting action on the World Poker Tour. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour's Caribbean Adventure. First-time finalist Daniel Negreanu is all in with an ace-3 suited. Hoyt Corkins has a 9-7 offsuit, but a massive chip lead. Hoyt has called, and Daniel will either double up or bust out. Here's the exciting conclusion.
Daniel Negreanu, originally from Canada, now out of Vegas. Will he survive, or will he be our third-place finisher?
Well, Vince, over $400,000 in this pot.
Bring an ace. Bring an ace.
And here we go with a flop.
That'd be a good flop.
Well, flop is King 8 deuce.
Helps neither player, but of course Daniel's in front with his ace high at this point.
So right now, Hoyt needs a 9 or a 7.
And a jack of clubs comes up on the turn.
Now a 10 will make Hoyt a straight, so he can win the pot with a 7, a 9, or a 10.
Last card coming up.
He doesn't do it.
No.
Daniel is double up. He pumps his fist. He is back in the game, Vince. And we all got chips again. What a horse race we've got here.
He is pushing the Cowboy right back to Alabama with that call.
Good call.
Thank you.
Vince, you got to love the play there. You got to love the pressure that Hoyt put on him, and you got to love the correct decision that Daniel made to call. Folks, it doesn't get better than this.
Well, Mike, that hand definitely deserves a playback. This was a critical decision for Daniel Negreanu.
Well, it was, and he put the pieces together perfectly there, Vince. He understood that Hoyt was making an oversized bet in that spot. The blinds are 5 and 10,000. Hoyt bet 185,000. Daniel had about 200,000 left. So Daniel's thinking, why would a guy bet that much?
I look at him right here. He thinks, he mumbles to himself, and now he does the right thing. He moves all in.
He wanted to draw a sword in the sand and say, look, I'm just not going to let you push me around all day. I'm going to make a stand. Excellent analysis by Daniel on that hand.
And that's going to make things a lot closer. All three players hovering around $500,000 each. The chips keep going round and round.
Well, Vince, their stomachs are going round and round right now. I can tell you that. These guys really want to win this title.
Yes, they do. And right now it's going to be on the young Canadian Daniel. He's going out with an 8-3 offsuit. Gus taking a peek at a Queen 9.
He's in the small blind.
That's his favorite hand at the moment.
And he's going to raise it, Vince. 31,000.
Yeah. He's going to try to push Hoyt around here a little bit. Hoyt's got a 10-6 offsuit.
Well, Hoyt's a tough man to push around, I can tell you, especially when he's got the chip lead like he does now and position. He's going to call it here, so we're going to have a flop.
They are splashing out at sea.
It's Queen 9 versus 10-6. Flop is Jack 7-6. No help for Gus. Hoyt has flopped the bottom pair.
But Gus is going to come out firing.
Yep. His right arm is robotic, Vince. It just keeps moving forward.
You're right about that. And look at this.
What a nice call here by Hoyt.
Why not? Here comes 4th Street.
Now a 9 comes off. That gives Gus the best hand with 2 9s right now. It also gives Hoyt a straight draw. An 8 would make him a straight now.
Gus picks up the 9 on 4th Street.
Well, he bet when he had nothing.
Yes, he
now
did.
He's made 2 9s, and he bets again, 50,000.
Right into Hoyt, and look at that look by Hoyt.
50,000.
This is one stoic cowboy.
Well, you're sitting in Hoyt's seat. You've got bottom pair against most players. You wouldn't consider playing that hand. But against Gus Hansen, you know he could have anything. What tough decisions these guys are faced with, Vince, over and over during these no-limit hold'em tournaments. Here's one of them right now for Hoyt.
And look at this. He's going to get the call by Hoyt.
Yes, Hoyt calls the 50,000. Hoyt's going to have help.
Last card, a queen. It's made 2 pair for Gus.
Now, for the viewers out there watching, notice he doesn't bet right away because he hit 2 pair at the river. He's being methodical.
Oh, silk.
He's thinking about his play like he does on every time it's his turn to act.
Little shake of the head.
But notice Hoyt studying him intently, never taking his eyes off of him here. You do that to try to pick up information on the strength of your opponent's hand. The question is, will Hoyt pick up on it?
Hoyt Corkins, the ultimate bounty hunter, staring Gus down. No trickery here. Look at this. Gus is going to bet.
Yes, he bets 100,000. Now Hoyt would just bottom pair, wisely lays it down. Now, Vince, that was uncanny poker instincts by Hoyt, in my opinion, there. But in the meantime, your man Gus Hansen just keeps pounding away with these kind of hands.
You know, you're watching poker artistry, finesse at its best.
You know, Vince, the mark of a truly disciplined player is what he's willing to lay down, even when it seems like a great hand.
No, that is true. It takes great patience and dedication. But let's talk about players' hands that they like, the lucky hands, their favorite hands.
Well, players argue about that for hours, Vince.
Yeah.
So Shauna Hyatt decided to ask why some players' winning hands are other players' losing hands in this week's Poker Corner, brought to you by Anheuser World Select.
Mike, according to the World Poker Tour pros, there's no shortage of opinions on what's the best hands in poker. You'd think that pocket aces would be everyone's favorite. Not so. Poker players are known to be superstitious about certain cards.
My favorite hand to be dealt is pocket queens because there's so many ways to misplay them. I know I'll find one of them.
Well, my favorite hand to play, I guess, would be, and this is a silly, stupid hand, but 10-7 offsuit.
Any sort of suited connectors.
7-8 suited.
Jack 10 suited.
I like playing Jack 10 suited.
The only hand I would never fold would be aces.
Aces.
Aces is what you want to start with. Don't let anybody kid you. That's your hand.
This tournament, it's definitely been 2 8s.
I guess it really depends on the position that I'm in.
Really, position is everything, so I don't really care what hand you have. You can just really play the player.
So maybe the answer to what's the best hand is not necessarily the cards you're holding, but what's in your opponent's hand.
My favorite hand is whatever wins the pot. The bluff is mine.
All right, back on the action here. Right now, Hoyt Corkins is the chip leader with 781,000, followed by Gus Hansen with 510,000, and then back to Daniel Negreanu, who is our short stack with 381.
He's the short stack, Vince, but still got plenty of chips to play with. I'm telling you, any one of these guys are very capable of capturing this title.
Gus Hansen peaks at a weak little 6-5 offsuit.
But he raises on the button with the 6-5, comes in for 31,000.
How Gus of him. Hoyt throws away a Jack 10.
Now here's Daniel with a pretty nice hand playing three-handed King Queen. And he just calls it. He doesn't re-raise. So we're going to have a flop here.
Flop comes up 9-6-4.
Daniel is checked.
And that's hit Gus Hansen. He's got a little piece of that at least.
Yeah, Gus has made 2 6s.
Flop comes down.
And Gus bets the 2 6s.
He makes those junk hands work all the time, it seems like.
Now, Daniel, if he makes this call, Vince, in my view, he thinks the King Queen is the best hand. He'll be calling out of position. He's going to have to act first after the next card comes off. What are you going to do with King High? Well, he does call it.
Yes, he does.
He's called 30,000 with just King High here, folks. And now a Jack comes off. Now this gives Daniel a straight draw. A 10 would make him a straight.
But he has checked it.
Well, Gus checks right behind him.
Here comes the river.
Now the board pairs 4s. Now Daniel with just King High. How's he going to play it?
Well, we know. What does a man do when he doesn't make his hand? You got to bet it.
Well, he's bet 50,000.
He's going to try a little bluff here.
Now Gus has to put the pieces together. You know, the guy didn't re-raise me before the flop. He didn't bet on the flop. He didn't raise on the flop. He didn't bet on 4th Street. What has this guy got here? Are my 2 6s in fact good?
Well, this would be a tremendous call if he doesn't. Look at this. Well, he fakes like he's going to call.
The bluff bet there.
You got me going there. He's second-guessing this one. Oh, but now he is going to call.
King high. No, I didn't think so. But
He caught Daniel with his hand in the cookie jar. You know, you got to give Gus credit for the instincts he has. It's uncanny because virtually all he can beat there is a bluff.
it wasn't the old king high.
A good attempt by Daniel. You can't blame him for giving it a shot. But right now, World Poker Tour champion Gus Hansen has just schooled Daniel.
Just fantastic poker continues here tonight on the World Poker Tour.
We'll be back with more Poker Stars Caribbean Adventure on the World Poker Tour. For more information on playing in a WPT event, be sure to check out our website at www.worldpokertour.com.
A high seas showdown is underway. Early on, 3 players who qualified online for the Poker Stars Caribbean Adventure got manhandled by one of the game's most aggressive players, 2-time WPT champ Gus Hansen.
I'm not unhappy with what's going on.
Now, poker pro Daniel Negreanu.
Yes!
And Foxwoods winner Hoyt Corkins will face this shark and hopefully not get eaten alive.
So, Mike, right now the blinds and antes have gone up. The ante is 2,000, with the small blind being 8 and the big blind being 16,000. Let's go to the action. Hoyt Corkins.
He looks down at ace deuce of diamonds on the button. Not a bad hand in a 3-handed game.
It is suited. It's an ace, and he's in the best position in Hold'em poker.
And he's going to raise it. Makes it 45,000 to go.
Daniel throws away an 8-6 offsuit. Back to gambling Gus Hansen.
Now he's faced with a tough decision here. He's got an ace-5 offsuit.
This guy doesn't like to run away from many hands. Riffles a little bit. Chips.
And he makes the call.
Casually calling. We got another hoedown here.
So off we go to the flop. And the flop is Jack 8-7. No help to either player.
They're both ace high. Gus is going to check into the cowboy.
And Hoyt checks right behind him.
Here comes the turn.
Now a 9 comes off. Now both of them have the same hand now. They have ace, jack, 9, 8, 7. The second card in their hands don't play. But Hoyt checked the last time. Gus is thinking, I gave the guy the green light. He didn't go through it. Now look at this bet this guy's making here. 51,000 here. And it's going to be a very difficult hand for Hoyt to continue.
Oh, man.
He's going to fold, and Gus is going to pick up this pot. He has earned another pot, Vince. Nice bet right there by Gus Hansen. You just got to admire his instincts.
Superior play. If you feel like you're getting pushed around, the only thing you could do is push back. Right now we have an extreme shoving match. Gus in front, still our chip leader. Hoyt close behind him with about 700, and Daniel, he's on the ropes with about 163, and it's going to be on our man Daniel to make a decision first.
Well, he looks down and finds a queen 9 of clubs.
That's a very solid starting hand.
Not a bad hand on the button. Let's see how Daniel plays it. He's going to raise it.
42.
He makes it 42,000 to go.
Getting aggressive. Gus takes a look at a jack 7 offsuit, throwing it away.
Remember, Daniel's only got 200,000 left.
Can he push out Hoyt Corkins? But Hoyt's going to call him with a king 9 offsuit.
Hoyt's in great shape here with a king 9 versus a queen 9. Well, flop is 6, 7, 8. Without hesitation, Hoyt bets his open-end straight draw. Bets 100,000. Now Daniel's only got about 120 left. So Daniel's got to make a decision here for all his money. Does he want to gamble with the same open-end straight draw?
Well, this puts him on the morphine drip. It could be elimination time.
Well, you're right about that, Vince. Now, what he's thinking about here is if his opponent has a 6, 7, or an 8, one of those pair cards, he could win the pot with a 5, a 9, a 10, or a queen. So it gives him a lot of outs. On the other hand, does he want to gamble here on a draw for all his money?
Guess it's that time again.
Well, he says it's that time again, Vince. Sounds like he's going to go with it.
I got 19 more after that. Praise it.
He's doing it. And I can tell you right now, Hoyt is sick that he called and moved in on him this time. But when he sees his hand, he's going to be jumping through hula hoops.
I have nothing.
Me neither.
You have nothing either? You got king 9. I'm in bad shape. That's ugly.
Oh, it is ugly. He's in a bad position. He's about to be basted like a Martha Stewart chicken, unless he can pull out a miracle.
That hand. Of all the hands. Bad shape.
Oh.
He is in bad shape. He's not kidding there.
Desperate times for Daniel right now.
He needs a queen to win the pot. He can tie it if a 5 or a 10 comes up.
Miracles have happened. Here comes the turn.
It's a 3.
Not going to help Daniel at this point.
No, Daniel needs a queen to win. He's going to need a 10 or a 5 to tie.
And here it comes. Here's the river of the cash card. No.
Nope. It's a 7. That does it, folks. Daniel Negreanu is going to be our third-place finisher.
I never had a pair ever. I was like scary.
Well, Daniel, I got news for you. These other two guys haven't had many pairs either.
I gotta go.
He's going to walk away a great superstar of the poker world with $192,000. Daniel Negreanu.
Well, it's great to see him at the final table, Vince, and we're going to see more of him. Believe me, this guy will be back to final tables on the World Poker Tour.
Gus got the better of me today. He had position. He was pounding on me like an anvil, but the rest of the season, the championship, all that, you'll see me at another final table. That's a guarantee. Take that to the bank.
I like that.
Okay.
We are down to 2 players. We are heads-up action on the World Poker Tour. Gus Hansen against Hoyt Corkins. Doesn't get any better than this. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Oh, Edward, no, please don't come in. I know this must be difficult for you, and it's really not your fault. But I've met Troy now, and intellectually, he's more on my plane.
You got a plane?
Bad poker face. Doesn't matter when you play online at partypoker.com. It's fun, it's easy, it's the world's largest poker room.
Twin engine?
Welcome back to this week's stop on the World Poker Tour from the middle of the Caribbean. First-time WPT finalist Daniel Negreanu is out.
Good job, Hoyt.
Now it's time for a heads-up match between 2 titans of poker, Gus Hansen and Hoyt Corkins.
Vince, as is the custom on the World Poker Tour, the money comes out in some unique fashion. Our own Shauna Hyde is leading procession of crew members.
Oh, that could be a lifesaver. Look at the money there. 1.6 million. Look at it. Hit the table.
There you see it, folks. Cold, hard cash on the high seas. You got to love it.
The winner will get nearly $500,000, $455,000 to be exact.
And what a heads-up final we're going to have here, Vince.
It is the heads-up battle, the macho match. Who's going to get lucky? It'll be on Hoyt right now. Looks down at the Queen 8 offsuit.
Well, he just limps in. He calls on the button with the Queen 8.
Back over to Gus. Now Gus looks down at an Ace 4 diamonds.
Well, Gus doesn't want to give him a cheap flop. He's going to make him pay. He thinks the ace high is the best hand. It is. He raised it up to $53,000.
Danger looms on every hand. One mistake, you could be extricated.
Well, Hoyt's the chip leader. He's in position. I think he likes both of those things, so he's going to call right here.
He's going to play along.
So here we go. Action on the first hand. Over $100,000 in the pot right now. Here comes the flop.
Flop comes up king, jack, 4, all hearts.
Now Gus has flopped a pair of 4s. Hoyt has flopped a flush draw. Gus leads out and bets. This guy is just a fearless Viking warrior.
Well, he's going to test the waters. He's pushing the bet. He's saying, I'm going to push you around a little bit, Hoyt.
And now you're sitting in Hoyt Corkin's seat, Vince. Yes, you've got a flush draw, but it's only the 8 of hearts. So even if you make the flush, you're going to be scared with it. But Hoyt's going to call him. Some call right there by Hoyt Corkins.
Very curious call.
Well, he may be setting something up for later.
We're going to see a turn.
Well, the board pairs kings here. Now, how would you like to be sitting in Gus's seat right now? If you raised before the flop, you got called. Come king, jack, 4 hearts, you bet 50,000, you got called again.
Well, most players who would definitely slow them down.
Will he fire another shell at it? He does, Vince.
Oh, he never stops.
I'm telling you, it's amazing.
Gus bets 85,000.
And once again, he has put Hoyt to the test.
Oh, he's given... That's a toxic look by Hoyt. It's just, that's getting bad.
I'm telling you. Well, this would be some call if he makes it here, trying to catch this flush or make queens or call in an effort to steal the pot at the river.
And he's going to go out this time.
Well, he lays it down. It's just a tough call to make right there. Give Gus credit for continuing to fire at the pot, Vince. Just unbelievable, fearless action by Gus Hansen.
Well, with that win, Mike, Gus Hansen has 839,000 worth of chips. And miraculously, Hoyt Corkins right behind him with 833.
Folks, this is a battle of heavyweights, both trying to capture another World Poker Tour title. Who's it going to be? They're dead even in chips right now.
And now it's going to be on two-time champion Gus. Takes a peek at a Jack-10 offsuit.
And the Warrior raises again with Jack-10 offsuit on the button.
Yes, he does. And right behind him, Hoyt Corkins with a 10-8 of hearts.
We'll raise it.
He is going to raise it, Vince.
And look at this. It's a significant raise.
This raise has got some meat on it, folks. He's raised it 350,000 more.
He is pushing it right back into Gus Hansen's face. This is a battle of wits going on here.
Well, this is the kind of poker that Hoyt Corkins likes to play, folks. Power poker, as we call it. We saw it time and time again when he won the event at Foxwoods, making a big raise to force his opponent to play a big pot or lay his hand down.
Sometimes it makes you wonder, what is this guy doing? Is he just trying to take this pot with nothing? But is it worth it to hedge that bet?
Well, because of the WPT cam, we can see that Gus has way the best hand. But I can't conceive how he's possibly going to call this raise, Vince. I think he's just stalling here.
You think this is a fluff and puff show, huh?
Yeah, he's not. I can't imagine he's going to call 350,000 more with Jack high. And Gus lays it down.
Yes, he does. He scratches his head.
And Hoyt Corkins, the cowboy from Alabama, picks up another pot. And Vince, let's take a closer look at this great player from Alabama.
Hoyt Corkins is a study in contrasts. On the one hand, he's a Bible-reading, soft-spoken good old boy. On the other hand, he's a poker maverick who often bullies and bluffs people into folding their hands.
Hoyt, he's a very aggressive player. That might mess with my game.
Hoyt calls for 35,000.
I don't consider myself to be a top player. I'm just a good player.
Hoyt's style is all aggressive, playing a lot of pots, keeping your opponents off, not giving them an easy read on you.
Daniel folds, Hoyt's going to win the pot.
You know, catch a good run of cards. It's a fun game.
Which shows you don't have to act tough to be one bad hombre at the poker table.
My name's Hoyt Corkins, and I play cards, play poker.
So Hoyt Corkins, a living superstar in the poker world.
Always in control of his emotions, a very strong feature of his greatness as a player.
Well, this time he looks at a king 5.
And he just calls.
Gus, on the other hand, has a jack deuce offsuit.
Well, where's the marching band? You're going to see a flop without a raise before the flop, Vince.
The guys are slowing down a little bit.
Well, flop is 8-4-4. Certainly no help to either player. Remember, Gus has a jack deuce. Hoyt has a king 5. But does that slow Gus down? No. He bet 16,000.
Right into Hoyt, who has just king high.
Well, he's putting the test right to Hoyt. Now, Hoyt calls him with king high. This is amazing instincts to me.
These guys, come on, they're not playing cards anymore. They're just playing each other. And look at this. A king hits for Hoyt.
Yep. Hoyt makes the 2 kings. Now Gus checks. And Hoyt checks right behind him.
Yeah, he set a little trap for him. And the last card is a jack, Mike. It's hit Gus. He's hit his pair of jacks.
And Vince, he's got to think it's the best hand right now.
Well, you're right. Hoyt has put the net out there. Gus has finally hit a card, and he is entangled in this net.
Well, he bets 37,000, and you certainly can't blame him for doing it now, the way this hand's been played.
37,000.
Now, the question is, what's Hoyt going to do? We know he's in the least call for sure. Is he going to raise or not?
He is staring down his victim. Hoyt Corkins taking his time here. We know he's in front.
Raise it. He is going to raise it.
He's not going to let him off cheap. He's going up.
He doubles the bet. He makes it 74,000, so he raises 37,000 more. And now if you're sitting in Gus's seat, Vince, the caution light has come on. You can see what Gus is doing. He's nodding. What is going on now? What kind of trap did I get into?
Gus is thinking, how can this guy re-raise me here unless I'm beat? But there's so much darn money in the pot. I've seen Hoyt make some crazy plays before. He's going to call it.
Well, you can't blame him for calling there, Vince. All you can do is credit Hoyt for making a nice re-raise there. A value re-raise that pays off for him. Just great poker by Hoyt Corkins right there.
Yeah, he has just punished Gus right then. He pulled it Gus on Gus. Well done. Stay tuned. We'll be right back for some more great action on the World Poker Tour.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour. Now let's get back to the action with Mike Sexton and Vince Van Patten.
We are heads up in a heated battle. Hoyt Corkins now has the lead in chips. He has 993,000 to Gus Hansen's 679,000.
And Vince, what we're seeing is that in No Limit Hold'em, you don't have to hold cards to win. No Limit Hold'em is all about betting. It's all about playing your opponent. And that's what you're seeing here tonight.
Right now it's going to be on Hoyt Corkins, who has 8-7 of hearts.
Suited connectors, as we say. And he's going to pop it up, makes it 43,000.
I never raise 43.
Gus Hansen takes a little look at a king 6 offsuit.
43,000.
Let's see if he'll continue. Yes, he does.
Well, you know, he's just relentless. I mean, most players would fold that after a raise, being out of position with a king 6 offsuit, but not Gus Hansen.
No.
And here we go.
Flop comes up 9-5-5. Gus having absolutely nothing at this point.
Now Gus checks.
That gives an inside straight draw to Hoyt Corkins.
Now does Hoyt want to bet the straight draw? No, he wants the free card off.
Not going to fool around. Here we go.
And bingo, Hoyt has hit the inside straight.
A miracle card has happened here.
And Gus has made 2 6s now. Gus checks again. Hoyt bet 60,000 he's bet.
Gus has got a piece of this. He's got the 6s.
Remember, it was checked on the flop. Hoyt raised before the flop. So if you're sitting in Gus's seat, you might think he might have 2 big cards. You might think your 2 6s are good here.
And right now, Deliverance on a Banjo is going off in Hoyt's head.
Well, Gus is on thin ice right now. He doesn't know it. And he's going to call 60,000.
Paying it off.
So right now, Gus Hansen is headed for Whitewater. Unless he can catch a 6 or a 5 here, he could be in trouble.
Oh, Hoyt in a beautiful position. Has him on a string. Last card coming up.
And that's a deuce.
And that's a beautiful non-card for Hoyt. That's going to help him so much. He has the lock here. Now Gus is checked, and Hoyt is going at it double-fisted.
Yes, he is. 140,000 he's bet. Now, he has put the test right here to Gus Hansen, and as I said, Gus called on 4th Street because he thought the sixes were the best hand. There's no way he's going to think a deuce helped his opponent.
You got a respectable pair. You're in all the way. You can't figure the deuce helped him. What do you do?
Well, Gus is one of the best in the game at making tough decisions like this. Will he make the correct decision here? Or will he be boiled in water in this pot?
Look how stiff Hoyt is at this moment. Not wanting to give anything away. This is a mouth-watering pot. He would love to win this extra bet here. It's got Gus in a quandary. What a tremendous laydown this would be at this point.
Well, it would be a sensational laydown, and I think a very difficult one to make.
Do you pay the cowboy off or not, Gus? Yes, he does.
He's calling it, and he's not going to like it. We have a saying in poker, if you think long, you think wrong. It happened to Gus right there, but you can't blame him for calling with sixes there, Vance.
And right now, the cowboy has just hung a noose around Gus's neck, and he is dragging him home to Mayberry.
Well, he may have a noose around his neck, but Gus is not swinging from the tree just yet, Vince. This is not over by any means.
What can you say about poker megastar Gus Hansen? Lots.
Gus Hansen has hit lightning at the river.
It's over. Gus has done it. Two-time World Poker Tour champion.
Gus Hansen, and he was really amazing, just like Adam on his left, and he's so aggressive.
Bang, bang, a left and a right by Gus Hansen. He delivered a serious blow to his opponent.
Very intense. He's know what he's doing.
He wins the pot.
That's
wow.
just a great bet with nothing.
A relentless player. He never stops, no matter whether he has chips or not.
Hey, I'm back in action.
People at home have this impression that he's just all testosterone.
I have an aggressive style where I play a lot of different hands. A lot of time also poker is not playing your hand, but playing your opponent's hand and hopefully feeling some weakness.
I'm all in.
He's all in. He says he's all in.
What?
Gus is a very deep thinker about poker. That really impresses me.
It's scary.
I'm very intimidated by Gus.
I would be scared of me too.
So, word to the wise, don't ever count him out until the last hand is played.
Gus Hansen has won this tournament.
Gus Hansen, professional poker player.
Well, we can see from that clip, Vince, the respect that these other players give Gus Hansen, and it's a deserved respect. He's not out of this thing yet, but he is on the ropes.
Hoyt Corkins taking control. The good old boy cowboy lambasting Gus. Let's see if he can come back.
Well, the action's on Gus. He looks down at King 7 of clubs.
That's a pretty decent starting hand, but he's just going to call it. Hoyt Corkins looking at a King 5 offsuit.
Hoyt raises $50,000 with King high here.
I'm all in.
Gus goes over the top of him with a raise all in.
Without hesitation, he comes back over the top with the King 7, folks. Now that takes a lot of heart.
Oh, that is an emasculating raise. And what is Hoyt going to do with it?
Yep.
Well, because of the WPT cam, we see Gus in a commanding position here with King 7 versus King 5. But believe me, he didn't know it, and nor does Hoyt.
And he's going to lay it down. That's poker genius by Gus.
That feels better. I thought I was going to have a cakewalk.
He wants to test at the old rodeo.
Well, believe me, he doesn't want to put any fire in that dragon. I'm telling you that. He can make jokes he wants to, but he wants this man gone. He knows how dangerous Gus Hansen is.
He may have said the wrong thing to the wrong guy. Well, stay tuned. We'll be right back for some more great action on the World Poker Tour. Welcome back to the World Poker Tour, Poker Stars Caribbean Adventure.
And what an adventure it is, Vince. This is just a tremendous battle of will between these two players. And right now, Hoyt's in good shape here. Even though he lost that last pot, he's still got a big chip lead, about a 3-1 chip lead over his opponent, but you can never count this guy out.
Oh, yeah, you're right. And the macho match continues. Hoyt this time looking down at the King 10 offsuit. He's going to raise it.
Yes, he does. Comes in for $43,000.
Gus taking a peek at a Queen 7.
Now Gus Hansen out of position, looking at Queen 7 offsuit. Calls again, Vince. Now, I'm a little puzzled by these calls out of position with 9-4s and Queen 7s, but Gus is so good at playing after the flop that he can make these kind of calls and get away with it.
And he's going to give himself a chance to get lucky. He's been pushed around in this heads-up battle. Will it continue?
Well, flop is 8-8 deuce. No help to either player.
Gus first to act here.
He checks.
Hoyt right behind him checks it.
Yeah.
4th Street, a big king.
Bingo for Hoyt. He's made 2 kings on the turn.
That is a beautiful card for him.
Gus checks. And Hoyt checks again.
Oh.
Look how many times he's coyly checked on the turn when he's hit his hand tonight.
Rat trap.
And look at this. King's full he's made. Gus checks. Well, now he's going to bet $40,000.
Come out wherever you are.
Well, the way this hand was played, what's going through Gus's mind is the queen high good now. Now notice he's going to play the kings and 8s that are on the board. His kicker card is the queen. And believe it or not, he's contemplating whether a queen high is good here. Little does he know his opponent has got kings full. And again, Hoyt goes into his mannequin, look straight ahead attitude.
Well, it's a decent little pot. Gus might think he's in front, but
well, he thinks his opponent's got like a Jack 10 or a 10-9 or a 7-6 or something like that. And is the queen high good? Now, normally Gus is great about making these kind of decisions.
And he is going to call it.
He's on the wrong end of the totem pole here, though.
Oh, whoops.
He calls him with queen high. His opponent's got kings full.
And Hoyt is just taking that lasso, squeezing it just a little bit tighter around Gus Hansen's neck. Gus is in big trouble. He is in the mosh pit because he's got about $350,000 compared to Hoyt Corkins' $1.3 million. Back to Hoyt. He's got a big hand this time. Ace-9 of clubs. He's going to raise it.
Makes it $43,000 to go on the button.
Gus peeks down at a 9-10 of diamonds, a suited connector.
27 more. Total bet 43.
I'm all in.
He's gone all in with advance. Look how quickly Hoyt calls. Doesn't
right
blink an
behind
eye.
him, no.
And he is in a dominating position here.
Oh, a pained look by Gus when he sees the cards turned over. He knows he's a big dog at this point.
Well, he is sick right now, Vince. He's got 10-9. Hoyt's got ace-9.
This is a potential disaster for the great Gus Hansen. He has gone in at seemingly the wrong time. It could all be over.
Well, you're right about that, Vince. Right now, Hoyt Corkins is in prime position to capture his second World Poker Tour title. He's in a dominating position. It's ace-9 versus 10-9.
He has waited for this misstep. Is it going to pay off?
Now, Gus does have a suited hand in diamonds. Hoyt has a suited hand in clubs. Gus is going to have to get some help. Otherwise, he's going to be out in second place.
Here we go with a flop.
A flop is queen 9-3, all spades.
But they both have pair of 9s. Very interesting. But Hoyt's kicker, the ace, obviously way out in front with it.
Yes, it is. Right now, Gus is going to have to catch a 10 or 2 running cards to make a straight. Otherwise, he's going to be our runner-up, Vince.
Here we go with the turn card.
Okay. Oh, my golly, can you believe it? Look at Gus.
He's wagging the finger back at Hoyt.
Aha, it's not over yet, my man.
What a card. He's hit the 2 pair.
You've got more work to do, and with that pot, they're going to be about dead even in chips, Vince. We're going to have a new race.
But there's still one card to come.
Well, it's got to be an ace.
And it isn't. And Gus is going to survive this onslaught. He is right back in there. And there is no more smiles right now for Hoyt, the man from Alabama. The banjo is no longer playing on his knee.
I can tell you right now, his throat is dry. He's parched, Vince. That was a blow like you can't believe. He was counting the money. He was clearing his space on his mantle for that second World Poker Tour trophy, and bam, the 10 came off on the turn. And for the guy they call Nightmare, that hand was a nightmare.
That kind of hand makes you love poker and hate poker at the same time. It's a schizophrenic game.
I believe we're back to square one.
We are.
Well, Hoyt just said we're back to square one. Chips are about even, but old momentum is on Gus's side. Look at the confidence in his face right now, Vince, after that big draw out to stay alive in this tournament.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back from the Voyager of the Seas on the World Poker Tour.
We play because poker's not a scratch-off ticket, a half-court jumper, or a knock on wood. It's no game of luck, poker. It's a game of patience and well-timed aggression. We know when we play, a little luck helps. But luck can't explain why final tables have so many familiar faces. We play at FullTiltPoker.com.
Welcome back to World Poker Tour. Slow down, Cowboy, because this cockfight is continuing.
Well, Vince, you can see the change in body posture of Gus Hansen. Things have totally turned around because of that big draw out that Gus Hansen made momentarily ago.
Amazing, and they both have around 800,000 each. Action's going to be on Gus right now, and he has a very solid king-queen offsuit.
Big hand playing heads up. He raises it to 48,000. Now Hoyt looks down at a jack-8 offsuit.
I don't know how much it is now.
32 more.
A little befuddled right now. He is definitely thrown off here, Mike.
Well, it's 32,000 more, and he's calling out of position with a jack-8 offsuit here. So right now, his stomach is spinning, and his mind might be spinning with it.
Oh, yeah, he could have tasted that victory, but here we go with a flop.
Flop comes down.
Well, flop is 10-3-3. Hoyt checks.
Helps neither player on the flop. Gus in position. Lines up. Fires.
42,000.
And he bets 42,000.
Hoyt with just jack high. Is he going to play along here?
Well, he has nothing, Vince. He's got a jack and an 8.
I'm going to raise it.
And look at this. He's going to raise this, Mike.
He says, I'm going to raise it. And he does so. He makes it 112,000, raises it 70,000 more with nothing. A jack-8 on a stone bluff here.
You got to admire this man.
70,000.
He is pushing Gus back.
Oh, he raised to 70,000.
What will Gus do?
Well, remember, Gus just has king high here. He's been check raised on the flop.
That, as you say, is the strongest play in no-limit poker.
Well, when you raise before the flop and 2 3s come out there and your opponent called you, you're not going to put him on a 3. So he's either going to have a 10 here or he's going to have nothing in Gus's mind.
Gus is going to stick around. He's calling this raise.
He is calling the raise with king high. Uncanny instincts here by Gus. I think he's put his opponent a little bit on tilt here.
4th Street's an ace.
An ace comes up. Hoyt checks. Now this gives Gus an ace-high straight draw. He could take a free card here to try to catch his jack.
He's got that inside miracle straight draw. And he's also got the position of a man that just checked into him. Green light.
He's also got an opponent that I think he's put on tilt a little bit here. So he is going to bet it, Vince.
He is pushing Hoyt.
$150,000. And now poor Hoyt looking at a jack-8 offsuit. Folds his hand.
Oh, he has been foiled here. And this man is tilting like the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Well, Vince, I can tell you, the vast majority of players would have folded the king high when they got re-raised on the flop. But not Gus Hansen. He called him with the king high. Then he bet on 4th Street. Just amazing poker you're watching here.
Well, this game could bring you a lot of pain if you're not careful. Right now, that does not feel good for Hoyt. Let's see if he can come back now.
Well, you can see his pain right on his face here, Vince. You know the frustration and the sickness. He's got to get himself back together here, Vince.
So with that play, Gus Hansen is now in the driver's seat. He has 986,000 worth of chips. And Hoyt is now in second place in this match race with about 686,000.
Can Hoyt turn things around?
Look at this right now. Hoyt's got an interesting hand. He's got queen nine of hearts. On the button.
Yep, he's going to raise it up. Makes it 70,000 to go.
Gus Hansen has an ace-6 of hearts.
I'm all in.
And he's going to go all in, Mike.
Wow. He's going to force a decision out of Hoyt for all his chips here.
Oh, he's putting Hoyt's face in a puddle with this raise.
Well, he's raised him over 600,000. Hard to believe Hoyt can call this with just a queen and a 9.
How does Gus know? I mean, come on, the intuition to know that he probably is in front with an ace-6. Just incredible.
He knows when to pull the trigger, Vince, no doubt about it. And Hoyt lays down the hand.
Oh, he does, and that's got to hurt. How do you spell pain? It's happening for Hoyt right now. And from Alabama, just a couple cards away from winning this title, now on the ropes.
Well, Vince, even though Hoyt looks like he's down right now, he's not out. He's still got 600,000 in chips. Believe me, he's got plenty of chips to come back with. You just got to put what's happened in the past behind you and move on.
It could all potentially be over in one hand. Danger looms everywhere right now on Hoyt Corkins. He takes a look at the 9-4 diamonds.
He limps in on the button, trying to see a flop. Gus peeking down at the 7-3 offsuit. He checks.
He's got a creepy little hand. That's a Gus hand, 7-3.
Something unusual, folks. We're going to have a flop that wasn't raised prior to the flop.
Here we go.
Comes King 7-5.
Oh, that gives Gus a little piece of it. He's got the 7s.
He's made 2 7s, and he leads out and bets 30,000.
And Hoyt with a 9-4 of diamonds. What is he considering?
Hoyt Corkins has no hand and no draw at the moment.
Does he want to pursue this? Looks like he does.
I'm shocked by this, Vince. He calls here with no hand and no draw, obviously to try to set his opponent up to steal it later on.
And here we go with 4th straight, and look at this.
Oh,
the 3.
What a card for both players.
That's 2 pair for Gus and 4 diamonds for Hoyt and a possible straight draw.
Gus checks.
That heats things up considerably.
Now Hoyt's got a flush draw and a straight draw, and he's going to bet.
Hoyt bets 100,000.
I'm all in.
Gus, who's trapping, he's going all in.
I call.
Hoyt quickly calls.
Hoyt says call.
So Hoyt is called on a draw here. He's going to have to catch a diamond or a 6. Otherwise, he's going to be our runner-up. And Gus Hansen will win his 3rd World Poker Tour title.
This is unbelievable. The money is all in.
What a sly check that Gus made on the turn there. He check raised his opponent for all his chips.
I dug the hole. He put the branches, the twigs over it, waited for the sucker to fall in, and Hoyt did just that, but he could outdraw him. Let's see what happens.
Well, Gus is over 2-1 favorite to win this pot.
Here comes the river, the cash card. What's it going to be?
It's a 3, a full house for Gus.
Oh, the muscles flaring up.
That's his trademark victory signal there.
Gus Hansen's going to take this title. He's a 3-time World Poker Tour champion, defeating the great Hoyt Corkins.
And Vince, as happy as you got to be for Gus Hansen to capture his 3rd title, you've got to feel the pain for Hoyt Corkins. He played a brilliant tournament here, got very unlucky, had the tournament in his pocket virtually. Gus drew out on him, and from there out he sort of caved in a little bit, I think. Didn't go his way, but what a great performance by Hoyt this week also, even though you know right now he's sick as a dog.
So this is amazing. Gus Hansen, our champion, he's going to take home $455,000 for his first place effort, and Hoyt Corkins is going to take home about $290,000.
We're going to break out the Anheuser World Select, the official beer of the World Poker Tour. here's to our runner-up Hoyt Corkins, and to the most successful player in the history of the World Poker Tour, Gus Hansen, our champion of the Poker Stars Caribbean Adventure. For Shauna Hyde and Vince Van Patten, I'm Mike Sexton saying thanks for joining us this week on the World Poker Tour. Until next time, may all your cards be live and your pots be monsters.
Here we go, Mike.
Here, try some of this. Bang, bang.
Oh! Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
The real beauty of the World Poker Tour.
You play until you go broke.
All in. He says I'm all in.
Well, you're right, Mike. Well, you're right, Mike.
Whoa, he's all in. Can you believe this? Unbelievable, unbelievable. Whoa, 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 whoa. Wow. Oh! Gone. Out of here. Out of here. Out of here. Out of here. Bang. Gone.
Well, you're right, Mike. That's got to sting. Absolutely.
She's all in. All in.
Oh, yeah, you gotta love that. Gotta love that.
Willie says you may have wrote the book and you may be the godfather, but here, try some of this. Bang.
Oh! Oh, yeah, you gotta love that. Show tunes going off in your head. Gotta love that.
Whoa! We look forward to seeing you next season on the World Poker Tour.
Oh no, I wasn't ready.